I got a question for both of you. One is, when is you guys, the board of supervisors, approved a fire station here, funded for that? When is that going to start? The built date on that. Second is the CSA 40 money that's there, roughly, I believe, what is it, 650?
710,000.
700,000.
550.
What is going to happen with those funds?
The answer to the first question is I would hope that construction will start sometime in late spring. They're in the process of getting bids for design. The board just approved bonding to get the money to pay for the fire station, and this is the only one that's being included in that bond at this time, and that's an effort that I made with Chief Thompson to make sure that Pine Mountain Club was the first priority in any stations that we built. The second question, what was your second question?
The CSA 40 funds that we have 700,000 in.
Yes.
What's going to happen with that money?
That is, you have total control over that money. You can do whatever you want to do with it, but you have to vote to decide what you want to do with that money. That is your money. It's not.
Boy, we're going to have a big party. Weinstein.
Cliff, wait a minute.
Just you can answer first before I ask.
No, let Cliff go ahead.
Well, I would like to defer to Supervisor Watson on when the fire department is going to be built. To me, the sooner the better. As for the case of money, that's up to you. You spend it as you wish. That's a great idea. But I'd like to go back to the previous question, just for a moment, if I may. I'm going to relate this to a parent-child relationship. Hall Ambulance works through the EMS under the Board of Supervisors with a contract, correct?
Yes.
What happens when some parents have a child that doesn't do exactly what needs to be done, or they're doing something bad? Whose responsibility is that if that child is doing something wrong? Is it the child's responsibility to get better, or is it the parent's responsibility to change the child's behavior?
Parent.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If the contract that Hall Ambulance is working under, and to my the best of my knowledge, they are within the limits of their contract. If that contract is not what it should be for the people of Pine Mountain, shouldn't we EMS and Board of Supervisors go back in and change that contract to make it where Hall Ambulance does a better job?
Yes.
I have two questions. One is I was just wondering how much of a conflict of interest it is for the person who's running the ambulance company to also be the mayor who's dealing with you directly, which to me seems almost something like Boss Tweed back in New York in the 1890s. The second question is, when are we ever going to get cell phone service up here? We didn't have phones a little over a week ago. The place was blacked out. We were like North Korea looking from space, where the whole area was blacked out. You had no service. We could call each other. We couldn't call out. We had no emergency service. We had no ambulance. We had no paramedic. And we had no cell phone service. Other than that, we were fine.
With respect to the cell phones, the cell phone companies make the decisions on where they place their transmitters, and they keep them up. That's not a county function.
We thought that supervisors kept on delaying and disapproving things that we were asking for, from what we understood. About the size of the tower, the location of the tower.
That's not been brought to my attention.
I can only tell you on the cell towers, there's several companies still evaluating where and what and who and why and where. And I think Dan can probably update you on that, but I don't think that's for tonight's meeting.
Okay.
The cell service is in the works.
Good.
I think that the board of directors of PMC is working very hard on that. And I can tell you even the water company board is working on that. So there's a lot of things going on in the cell phone thing, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised by next summer to see a cell service up here.
May I make a comment from that?
What about the question about the ambulance, about if the person you're dealing with directly as a mayor of the largest city of the county is preventing paramedics from being provided for the county, and yet he's also operating the rolling ambulance service available to the people here. You don't think that's a conflict of interest? To have the largest ambulance service run by the person who happens to be the mayor of the largest city?
Well, he's not preventing paramedics in any way, shape, or form. He has nothing to say about it.
That's not true. You know it.
That is
So if we
not
bring it up
true.
tomorrow, he'll be fine with it.
How many of you supervisors play golf with Harvey Hall?
I don't play golf.
You understand our point? I think it's a fair question.
The only,
What business gets done on a golf course?
the only reason I don't play golf is I'm always standing too close to the ball after I hit it. In the back of the room.
I just to respond to that gentleman's question, though, Harvey Hall does not make these decisions. Harvey Hall reports to our EMS department, and he has certain standards that he has to maintain. If he doesn't maintain them, he loses his contract.
You gotta get rid of that
You don't
budget.
believe that?
Yeah, but our last incident that we had last Friday.
Edie, let us, we got a couple people back here that haven't spoken in the back of the room.
I'm kind of a new guy on the block, but I'd like to defer back to the firehouse for a second. When we moved up here roughly 3 years ago, we were told, oh yeah, they're planning on a new firehouse. They're gonna build a new firehouse. You know, what is this thing gonna be, a Taj Mahal? I mean, how big does it have to be, and how long does it take to design it? I've seen hospitals built faster than that little firehouse. I mean, what is the delay in getting plans for that? In 4 months, you can have a set of plans.
I just have to tell you, when the government builds anything, there are procurement procedures that they have to go through, design procedures that are strictly controlled by law. And the first thing we had to do was get the money, and the second thing we had to do was design it. And once we got the money, we moved very rapidly towards getting it done. And we will be in construction soon.
When did it actually start designing?
The fire department has been working on their own internal designs on that for some time, and they should be ready to start construction as soon as we get the bond money.